It's Monday, February 10th. Quick one up video for you wonderful ladies and gentlemen. Market had an interesting day. It was able to recover and stay over some key levels, but not able to clear others just yet. We'll get to that in a second. As far as VIX goes, bit of a higher low today. I think if we're able to clear the Friday high at 1666, there's the potential for a liquidation break, maybe with a pop-up in volatility to the 1936, which is, of course, our key pass don't pass line. As of now, we're still below it, and the bears have not impressed me. With regard to the ES and the NQ, the bulls have not been able to sustain a move over 6100. We did repair last Friday's poor close, meaning not this past Friday, but the one before that, at 6105 half. And in the Qs, we were able to repair their apples to apples underwater close at 21,774. So what now? Very simple. Bulls need to hold 6100 in the ES, and the bulls in the Qs need to hold 21,779 quarter. Anything above those levels, I think, can see still higher prices. Qs, that would be 21,966, and then we'd see if that can clear. Then I think they have a green light up to 22,074 quarter. ES, if they're able to clear and stay over the 6100, I think they can see 6147.75 and likely a retest of the old all-time high at 6178.75. We have seen a pullback, but the percentage off the highs is very low. We're very close to those all-time highs. It wouldn't surprise me to see them eclipsed, but we have not done it yet, and I still believe we're in this big chunky range, and things are going to look super good at the highs, only to see liquidation breaks lower, and things are going to look really crappy at the lows, only to see short squeezes higher. SPY held the 10 MA on the pullback. Generally, though, I think as long as it holds 601.85, which is the 78.6 of the range, as defined by the 12.6 high to the 113 low, I think it's fine. If they can stay over that 78.6, I think we can retest up into the 609.07, 100% retracement, but the 12.18 Fed day high at 606.41 up to that 609.07 reference high is the resistance. On the other hand, if we were able to lose 601.85 and take out 600, I think we come down to 596.19, which is the 61.8 of the range, and then we'd see. If that fails, we likely retest the 50% fib at 592.21. That whole fib to fib, MA to MA thing. Qs have been strong, but not over the 78.6, and that they need to clear 530.71. If they can, I think they can see that 12.18 Fed day high at 536.88 and a retest of the all-time high at 539.15. Anything below 530.71, I think, is vulnerable for sideways to lower, with a move down to 524.08, which is the 61.8 of the range, and possibly a retest of the 50% fib at 519.42. Apple has kind of been sucking wind for a while. Bit of a bearish dubstep today. If you're short, you can use 230.51 as a stop. Anything above there, I think, probably goes up to 234.20, which is 100 MA, and then we'd see. Anything below the two-day low, and more particularly today's low at 227.65, I think retests the 100 MA at 221.59, and then maybe even a retest of the 219.38 reference lows that we saw back on 121. Generally, though, we are a little bit below the channel there, so it is cautionary. NVIDIA has rallied nicely off the channel low, but we are now back up to the 50% fib and close to the 100-day moving average. Now, the 50% fib is 133.07, but more importantly, the 100 MA is currently 134.78. Remember in the past when we traded below the 100 MA and then back through it, it was a long. I'm wondering on the downside here, if we trade above the 100 MA and then back through it, if it's a short. Still to be determined, but the rebound has been good. Generally, if you're long, I think you can be long against the 20 MA at 130.92. If you want to have a partial stop below 133.07, 50% fib, I'm good with that as well. Netflix is still bulldogging up here, riding above the channel high. New all-time high today. I think as long as it holds 1,647 down to 999, it is fine on pullbacks. The next big upside fib extension is 1,049.88, which has been our upside target, and I'd be booking some profits into that because that is our big upside target. Tesla, still seeing some weakness there. I guess the traders are a little worried about Elon Musk's focus. We're right on the 50% fib at 350.32. If we do leg a little bit lower, and we may not, this is a key area, we could see the 100 MA at 334.07 and the channel low, if it were to do it tomorrow, at 328.09. Ideally, it would bleed down slowly, and that would line up with the 61.8 of the range at 317.71, which I think could be a buy the dip. I think max pullback here is probably 271, barring some kind of a larger market correction. And if you want to do some kind of a put ratio, playing for the lower strike of 271 or below, I'm good with that. 1x2, if you could get it on for a small net credit or for zero, that is the ideal situation. Meta, I think, is now up 16 days in a row. Okay, I think that it is looking a little bit toppy here. Potential secure high. I'd be careful below 710.30, which is the 2 times range. On the upside, bulls will need to hold 716.17, which is the after hours earnings pop high. And then we could see 727.75, which is another time frame's 2 times range. After that, you're looking at 776.64 and 782.97 respectively as 2.618s on the upside. Don't let it get below 710, and for sure don't let it get below 700 on you. Gold has been bullish. We have been bullish in the precious metal. New all-time high today, getting a little steep here. We're getting very close to my 2 times range expectation of 274.78. We probably will get there. I think pullbacks to the 10 MA are okay at 260.83 and rising, but don't let it get below prior day's lows. I would use at least a stop on part below 267.24. I do think that the upside is likely going because we negated that triple tap head and shoulders, so we should at least double up that range, and that double up would be 274.78. I used the strength today in Newmont Mining to book some gains pretty close to the open, and later in the day, 46 plus is the gap fill, the 11.5 gap fill that is. I think you could use low of day now as a stop. Anything below 45.78 to me is a little too much, and for sure below 45.26, which is the 38.2 of the range. Next upside target is the 50% fib at 47.83, and the anchor VWAP is up now near $50. So if we were to get up there, particularly before earnings, I'd be booking it all there. Just sell orders up there if it triggers on the earnings. TLT, not a bit of a help today, but not too much of a hindrance. Just hanging out here, still night putting, still in the up channel. Anything below 88.47 would get me a little concerned. I think the 20 MA, though, is the absolute must-hold for the bulls, stock bulls, that is, and bond bulls, that is. But I think we could use the 88.69 10 MA, and if that were to fail, we probably do get a little bit of a pullback to the 87.82, and then we'd see. On the upside, the bulls need to clear 89.55, which was the 11.6 reference low. We tested above it and now back below it, so if you want new money longs, we've got to get over it, and if you're short, you could use that 89.55 as a stop. Dollar is kind of choppy, but over the 20 MA, so be careful. If that starts soaring, there's going to be some trouble. I do think that there is a lot of foreign investments coming in. I saw an interview today with Tucker Carlson and Prince Al Walid from a couple of days ago. He thinks that the United States and Italy are the places to be. They're apparently very favorable of conservative governments. They're anti-woke. I just listened to the interview. I think that kind of investment here, particularly from Arab nations, and now we see Japan and other sovereign wealth funds, will be very bullish for U.S. assets. I think it could also be a buoy for the dollar because countries and those investors need to sell their currency and to buy U.S. dollars in order to buy U.S. assets. Anything below 108.071 to me could see liquidation break. Above there, I do think we could make another run at the 109s. As far as Bitcoin goes, it seems like we're seeing some rotation from Bitcoin into gold, although I am fairly bullish on Bitcoin. I am a little cautious shorter term because we are below the 20 MA and 50% fib, 50% bib being 99,838, 20 MA being 101,155. Generally, we think 100,000 is a key pass, don't pass line, and we are a little bit below it. If you're already long, use 97,404 as a stop. That is the 61.8 of the range in terms of the futures. Generally speaking, markets are doing okay. They're treading water. Liquidation breaks have been getting bought, but we are not seeing new highs, and we are below some key critical levels, particularly the 6,100 in the ES. Bulls will need to clear that and hold in order for me to have confidence that we're not going to see another liquidation break. If we have a move above it and then back below it, you can use it as a stop for a short, but we are now coming into some resistance, and I would use up moves here to lock in some gains, raise some stops, and use the low VIX to buy some puts or put spreads. If you want to do put ratios, I'm good with it, but smaller size, because if price starts coming down in a hurry and we start seeing volatility pumping, you'll have both price and IV going against you, and that can get painful, particularly if your size isn't right. I'm still into selling some covered calls or even at the money calls to get out of positions with a little bit of alpha. Keep it simple, like and follow for more.